when that child is saying no, and I think one of the biggest things that comforts me every day is like we had some premarital counseling before we got married, and one of my pastor from my old church, he told me, he was like, one day, because it was one of my daughters, one of my girls, she was like one of the ones that was kind of like really against me being in the household.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me, he's like, one of these days she's gonna grow up, even if it's like 18, 19, 21, 30 years old, she's gonna run to you in your arms, and she's gonna be crying and asking you for help or something. And I'm actually like, it really hit me, because I was like, man, that could actually happen one day. And she's gonna realize, like, even just the kids, like, I know they're gonna get older and realize, like, even when they are 30 or something like that, they will realize the impact that I made in their life. As me and you remember, like, I would say for me, like, my parents, I remember now, like, what they did when they were my age, and I'm like, oh man, like I actually really appreciate them more. So like, I'm calling my mom like, man, thank you, I appreciate you, mom, like, da da da, dad, I appreciate you. And I realize that, but I know that, my kids right now aren't gonna see the same thing until they're older. Even with the fact that they're my stepchildren, like, I know that they're gonna really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And you see Ian Moss's question: what Bible verses or songs have kept you locked into Jesus through this miscarriage pain?
Oh my
And
gosh.
he's praying for you.
Um, it's a song by the Sing Team. There's this one song by the Sing Team. Um, it's called Psalm. It's actually a psalm too. That's the funny thing. I'm gonna look it up. Thank God I have them in the studio.
Don't play the song.
I won't play the song.
Don't get my show booted like
It's
yours
called
gets booted.
it's called "Satisfied in You." That's what it's called. It's a really great song by the Sing Team. You should check it out. Um, it's based off of Psalm 42. So that song, I probably had it on repeat for so long. And the devotion by Oswald Chambers, my utmost for his highest. That one has been getting me and my wife through a lot. We've been both reading that together. I'm learning a lot more about reading with my wife and praying with her right now. So that's been a lot that we've been doing. Another thing is, like, what we've done as a family, even as my stepkids. Every night we pray together. Every night we get together right before they're going to
That's
bed.
cool.
We try to do some type of devotion, and we talk about prayer requests. We ask them what's prayer requests, like who has a prayer request, um, and each one prays each day differently. Like, each one prays for the whole family every day. So it's like me, my wife, then the kids. They all trade off. We all trade off. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, man. And I mean, my final question for you, unless anyone else has any questions, is as this year closes out, what are you most looking forward to, like, in the future? Like, do you have any goals, any wishes, hopes, dreams?
Um, well, one, be able to come back to the States and visit finally. It's been a year and a half. I haven't seen my family. That's been hard.
Wow.
Yeah, because once I left Canada, I moved here and I couldn't just go back. You know what I mean? Because I've been working on my citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Because of COVID, my citizenship got pushed back. So everything got shut down here, and now I'm just praying for my citizenship to get, like, approved. So praying for the borders to open up and being able to visit as soon as I get my citizenship. And man, I'm partnering with a company coming, and it's for producers. So I'm not saying everything fully yet, but shout out to my producer fam, and yeah, and just continue working with you guys, Rapzilla, doing Critique Fridays, and coming out with new music and everything. So who knows? I can't really, as much as I want to plan more things and say, like, yo, I plan to do this, I want to do this. After 2020, I've been like,
There's no,
I'm like,
you
I ain't
can't
planning
plan
nothing.
for
I'm
anything,
not
man.
planning nothing anymore. I'm like,
Waste of
whatever
time.
happens, God, you allow it. It is what it is.
Yeah, man, I feel it. I actually skipped one of my questions, and we have a couple minutes still, so I'll ask it. Um, so just being in Canada now and watching the state of everything that's happening in the U.S. Obviously, you know all about what it's like to live in the U.S. So what's it like, kind of watching from in Canada, like just seeing everything that's going on?
There's a facade, bro. There's a facade with us Americans, and I didn't realize that until I moved out here. I realized how patriotic we are when it comes to America. Even just in whatever state we're from, even it
Hmm.
goes as far as to like whatever school we came, high school we went to. We had so much pride in those types of things, and I think it's a big brainwash. I'm not conspiracist. This is actual truth, man. I didn't realize that until I moved out here, and I was like, I'm stupid. Like when it comes to when it comes to even when it came to like my education in the US, like it's just really focused on US. Even Hollywood movies, it's just really focused on how bigging up the US and
On like power,
just
like
power,
that
like how much
prestige.
like not only that, it's just like even I'm not trying to get into politics, but even just the thoughts of socialism and everything like that. I remember moving up here when I was about to move up here. I had people were telling like big people that like were what that I looked up to. They were like, "Oh, brother, like in my church, they were just like, brother, it's a socialistic government. You better be careful." I come up here and I'm like, it's so much better. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. And then I realized how bad it is that it is in America. Just looking from now as a Canadian to to looking at the US, I'm like, I can understand why people hate us. Like in the US from other countries, and even just how much we don't know about other countries is insane. Like, yeah, so I would say like the U.S. needs a reform, a huge reform, in a lot of ways, and I honestly think it's gonna happen. I'm praying that it does. I think it had to get bad before it gets good. I still think that, and I think it's starting to curve the other way. So yeah, I mean, I'm praying for the U.S. I mean, my family and we've been praying for it. So
Where yeah, somebody just asked how is socialism better, bro? I feel like that's way too much of a loaded answer to get on
way
this.
too much.
And you didn't say necessarily
I
that
didn't say
socialism better.
socialism is better. I was
I
just saying that people were saying, "Oh my gosh, they're in socialism." I'm just saying Canada is better. I'm not saying socialism is better. So don't get my words
but
mixed
I
up.
also I also think, and I'll help you out, Obi, is our perception of what we may think and hear what socialism is actually entirely different
Right.
than what you've experienced.
Yeah, up here is very liberal too. Like we have a liberal government up here, and it's like partly socialistic, but like partly it's just more like liberal. And then there's like Republican too, and everything. There's a lot. It's a mixture of everything, but it works really well. And like, and not only that, like I'm not saying racism doesn't exist up here, but bro, like I am not afraid to get pulled over by a cop anymore here. Like I got pulled over up here for the first time with my wife, and I was so nervous. I was because I was already knowing what to expect. I've gotten pulled over with racist by racist cops like on the way to Derek Miner's album release party in 2017, and they thought me and my black friend kidnapped my white friend who was driving. Like we were, I'm not even kidding, bro. They had guns, like they were had their hands on their gun, and they took my white friend out of the car, and they were like trying to like, "Are you okay? Like, how do you know them? You sure that like they didn't kidnap you?" And he even told us, he was like, "Bro, they asked me all these questions, and it was insane, man." So I mean, I've had that type of stuff, but like night and day difference. Like when we did the Black Lives Matter march here in Canada, and we did it in Ontario and Niagara Falls. It was a huge march. There was a lot of people there. Thousands of people were there, and the cops were in in the march with us. They blocked off the intersections for us.
Wow.
And they were the chief of police of the Niagara Falls like region. He was marching with us, holding a sign and everything. It was like it was so much more unity there here in what I've seen. And that's not to say that there's not any racism here, because there is other stuff that's happened here, but it's not as like huge as it is in America. Like everybody actually understands, like, hey, black people are people, brown people are people. There was an understanding of that, and I think a lot of it is because now that's another story, but the homosexual community is really big here, and they're really accepted here in that sense. You know what I mean? So I think it's like if they're already accepted here, like even just racism, it doesn't make sense to be
like that's like old news.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like really, it's 2020, you're still racist? Like it doesn't make sense. So
yeah. But real quick, where can everyone follow you, find you, and all that?
Well, you can follow me at OnBeatMusic, everywhere, Twitter, Instagram. Hit up my link in my bio on Instagram for like all my stuff for Spotify and everything. Or you can just go to onbeatmusic.net and then tune in for Fridays on Rapzilla for Critique Fridays too. So.
All right, bro. Well, good catching up with you, man. I'll catch you later. Thank you for joining me on this final episode.
Thank you, man.
And,
appreciate you.
Good to have you guys on. You guys are the final guest of season 1. Interview 75. Nice number to end the series on until next year.
Honored, bro. Thank you for having us on, bro. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man. It was. I'm excited to have you guys on because I've done so many stories on sex trafficking in the past. I've written about. I'm sure you guys are aware of the Safe House Project.
Yeah.
With Legend and Renaissance Music, they're doing all that. I've spoken to Layla Micklethwait, who does the Trafficking Hub on Pornhub. Talking about trafficked women there.
Right.
A few years ago, I interviewed. What was the name of that movie? In Plain Sight.
Right.
I think Natalie Grant was running that, and I did a story for that. So when Billy, sent the press release my way to speak to you guys, I was like, man, like, yeah, I'm all about this because these are the stories that, I love to tell, and they're super important.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead.
We're pumped, bro. I mean, not only being a hip hop artist, but bro, being a pastor for over 20 years, it's our heart to shed light on stuff. I'm a senior pastor in Los Angeles, and so it's our heart to really shed light on the struggle of people that are voiceless. Hence my name, Put the Voice. And it's been my pleasure to engage on this topic, man. So we're thankful that you brought us in. That's what's up.
I want to ask, how has your 2020 been for the both of you, and what, how have you navigated through it and just gone through the craziness of it?
Well, it's been a blessing for me. Got to spend some time with my adult children. Got to spend a lot of time with my wife working from home. I was able to invest some time into the clothing brand to learn some things, target marketing, different things I've been wanting to do. And the brand really took off. I actually don't have to go back to my 9 to 5. I'm doing this full time now.
Wow, congratulations.
And as a platform to do things like help combat human trafficking and different projects.
Amazing. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, bro, it's been crazy. It's been wild, like for all of us, I think. Just kind of trying to find that equilibrium, and but at the same time, it's been a blessing for me, man. I have a little 16-year-old daughter. I got a 12-year-old little boy, and just to be able to spend quality time with them and to pastor them, I'm pastoring all these other people. I got 200 people in my church, but it's it's good to pastor your own family full time. And honestly, I've been called back on a lot of levels to the basics and just kind of going back to what it's all about, man. Spending time with my family, with the people I love the most. And so it's been crazy, but it's also been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I've said this so many times on the show, like me being a father myself too. It's like, when have you or will you ever get another opportunity like this where you're just locked in your house with the people that you love? No one's going to school. No one's going to work. No one has anything to be at. you're all just stuck together, whether you like it or not, but you can, rekindle those bonds in that relationship. You may never have another period of time like that again.
Yeah, bro.
So that's a blessing for people, with families